Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Paul's Workshop. Today we're upstairs because it's just too cold out in the garage. It's about 15 degrees out. We have something to work on. Let's check it out. All right, we have Paul stop by to say hi. So,
Yep.
what we have here today, we have these padlocks. Now, I had to do some work at my childhood home, and these have been hanging on this chain in the basement forever. And I brought my bolt cutters with me, and we cut the chain loose, and we have these three locks. Now, one is and we have this master lock here, which has its key. There's another master lock here that not sure if I have the key for, and then there's this lock here, this ILCO. And people who know that this is a government lock, and this lock was actually my father's Navy lock. And being sort of a keeper of all things, he carried, his keys around. And on this key ring, I believe, is the key for this lock. So we're actually going to see if we can identify the key. You want to give it a try, Junior? So I actually think it's this key. If you look, this key is pretty well worn. So we're going to try it. Give it a try in that lock, Paul.
Oh, yep. That would be it.
Okay, so we have the key. Now this lock was from, so you see Paul, try that. Show me what you're doing there. What's the problem with that?
It's like stuck in it.
Yeah, you can't take the key out of these locks until you lock them. So you don't lose the key. Right. So this is Dad's Navy from 1968. He went in the Navy. So we're gonna clean it up. I want to get some Brasso and clean it up. I want to oil the mechanism and just make it a nice lock again that I can kind of be proud of. So we're gonna do that right now. Okay, and since we're working upstairs, we have this yellow tray that's gonna hold all of our dirt and grime and stuff like that. But we're gonna be cleaning this. I'm putting the gloves on right now. We're gonna be cleaning this with a 50-50 mix of acetone and ATF, the famous 50-50. And I just walked by Paul in the hallway, and I said, I got one thing to say to you, kid. And he said, don't be stingy with the 50-50. So he knew. So we're gonna get in there. Of course, this thing is gonna be a problem. Oh, well, the old bottle it was in went kaput, so. Yeah, we're gonna really run that 50-50 in there. Get our key. Oh, I can already feel it opening a lot better than it was, but I want to really get it in there. It's also cleaning up the brass too. It's funny. So yeah, we're gonna work that. Gonna let that soak. Okay, so this lock, we took it outside and we tied it to the string and we spun it around to get most of that oil out. Probably looks like a crime scene out there with that ATF sprinkled in the snow, but the next thing I want to do is to try to get this lock to shine up. And I think I'm going to try some good old Brasso, see how that works. As you can see, it's starting to come clean. I'm going to continue polishing it, but I'm going to use something other than this, the paper towel. I'm going to actually use some cloth on this because it needs something a little more aggressive, I think, than just paper towel. So I've just been working this with an old washcloth, and you can start to see now it's coming clean. Still a lot of tarnish on it. I probably could put it on some kind of a fiber wheel or something, but I'm just going to keep polishing it by hand. And we'll see. In a couple minutes, it'll be okay. It'll look pretty nice. All right, after the Brasso cleaning, I gave it another good bath with the 50/50 to make sure all that residue was off and out of there. And still getting some dirt out of this lock. But, you know, it sat in the basement for a long time just on that chain. So I'm still just working it, and most of the time it'll pop right open. See that? We turn that key, it'll just pop right open now. So last thing I'm going to do is give it a good lubrication with some 3-in-1 lock lube. I'm going to really flood it out in there. Let it drip. Just doing the same thing. We're just working it in just like we did with the cleaner. Because we want this to work. Key goes right in, opens right up. Look at that. So now we have much smoother operation than we had before. And this is a pretty heavily worn key for being on his key ring for, well, probably most of his life. He carried that key as that lock sat in the basement. So kind of neat to have this back in. I'm still going through keys, so maybe we'll find his key to this #1 lock, this master #1. This one, of course, this is a later. This is probably this actually might have been my lock from you know, maybe the 80s or the 90s. Okay, here it is, the finished lock. The ILCO navy lock here. Here's our key. Still, everything is, it still has a lubricate coming off on it because everything is still nice and lubricated, but we have a much better operating lock now. Key stays in, but yeah, nice and clean. Got a couple still blemishes from where it hung on the chain. But these, as I understand it, is how you always told me, is these things were built to last. So there it is, the ILCO genuine pin tumbler US lock, Dad's Navy lock.